Hey girl, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited to show y'all how I did this set. After I was done doing this set, I was literally in love. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the products that I'm using on the screen. That was from A Galore from Instagram, and it's a really pretty pink glitter with purple iridescent. This is sugar and cream that I'm going to be using. Now the glitter doesn't completely match the color, but I think when it comes to glitter, just as long as you're in the same range, it really doesn't matter, unless you have a client that's kind of nitpicky about stuff like that. But anyway, I'm using this glitter on the pinky, and this is honestly my favorite glitter. Whenever I use this type of glitter, it's always so pretty. I love it. So I did put a little bit of clear into it to help it move around a little bit more, and I always use me a secret, so that's what I'm doing now. Now I'm going to use this color that I mentioned on a couple videos ago when I said I mixed clear with my Young Nails Cover Pink. So if you mix those two together, you'll get this light cover pink color, and it's super pretty. So that's what I'm using right now. And whenever you're doing the bottom half, just try to keep your shape as best as possible. That will minimize the amount of time you'll have to reshape.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, it can't be replaced. So no one else.
Okay, let's talk about the cuticle area. Never place the product directly on the cuticle. Place it away from the cuticle and then push product up, and slowly acrylic will seep down into the cuticle area on its own, because acrylic is a little bit self-leveling, not really that much, but it does try to balance itself out a little bit. So if you place it away and push up slightly, it's gonna fill itself in. Whenever I'm doing my application, I try to keep my shape as best as possible. I also try to make sure I can get the top part as smooth as I can. Tips that I can give you to kind of help you with that: keep your brush a little bit damp, not soaking wet, because you don't want too much monomer on the nail or the skin. But you have to kind of move efficiently depending on what kind of product you're using, because you want to get to the blending stage as quickly as possible before your product starts setting. Then you also want to make sure you always keeping your shape whether you think the product have set or not, because acrylic still moves even if you think it's a little bit dry. It still kind of moves. So here with my apex area, notice how I focus on the sides first, because as soon as you put beads down, it's going to want to fall off the nail right on the sides. So go ahead and take care of the sides, push product back into the center, and then blend it out. But notice how I do both at the same time. I push product in and I blend out. Push product in and I blend out. If you worry about the sides before you get to blend anything out, it's going to be hard for you. So try to do both at the same time. Alright, so now onto the cuticle bead. Again, place away from the cuticle, and I push up on the sides first. Remember, I pay attention to the sides. Push product up into the cuticle. The acrylic is going to self-balance itself out like you just did. And now I tuck in the sides and blend as I go. Tuck and blend. Clean up the sides and then blend down. Clean up the sides and then blend down. This nail is going to be an ombre with that sugar and cream color. It did marble a little bit, so if you see me doing any extra tapping like I am now, it's to kind of get rid of some of the marble. But with ombre, you just make sure the top of the color is kind of faded a little bit and it's not a harsh line. And you go ahead and blend that apex bead down and then your cuticle bead down. And that's how you create your ombre.
I think I need you. I swear it's time to keep these feelings to myself. Now you're the one I'm thinking of. My higher ground, my rocket love. For gravity, I'd rather stay up here. We can get away. Palm trees, beach views on a night day. All I wanna hear is an visions how we play. Sit right next to you. Not trying not to show how I feel about you. I wish away. Really wanna run, just wanna get away. Sit right next to you. I don't wanna kiss you. Yeah, I just wanna feel you. Feel you. I want you around. I want you
Alright, so now I'm ready to cap my glitter, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to wet the nail a little bit like I just did, just because it's chunky glitter and it'll help the acrylic flow a lot easier. So I put a bead down right where my apex is, and I travel it all the way down the nail. And I make sure to keep my shape. Now, notice how it doesn't have any bubbles in it. That's because you need to make sure you burp your brush and your monomer very good, like get all the air bubbles out so your clear can be super clear.
It's not that I want you here. Yeah. It's something about the way you stare into my eyes. I know that I can make things clear. I fall for you every time I try to resist. You get away, on trees, beach view,
Okay, now I'm going to show you how to create your apex. So once you pick up a bead, you're going to place it in the center. Tuck in the sides. That's very important because you're pushing product to the center, and that's how you're going to create a hump. So by getting rid of the product on the sides, it's pushing more product in the middle, and that's how you make sure it's thick enough. And then you just lightly blend over the whole thing to blend it into the existing bead that you already laid. Alright, so now that I've already shaped and filed and stuff off camera, now it's time to decorate. This is the foil glue that I'm going to be using. It's in my Amazon storefront. This is a little bit of glitter that I'm going to use. And I didn't really use that black polish, but you can use whatever black polish you have. But I did use that black pigment paint because the polish just wasn't opaque enough for me. Alright. So the first step you're going to do is make half of the nail French and half of it snake print. I'm doing a snake print first, so I'm putting the foil gel exactly where I want it, half of the nail. I'm going to cure that in a lamp, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick my snake transfer foil on it. This is also in my storefront on Amazon, so you know where to get it. But it's also other places because the one on Amazon doesn't give you that much. It doesn't give you a whole roll. Well, the one that I bought. So there are other shops on Instagram. Oh, you guys can get it from Tulip. Yeah, get it from Tulip Nail Supply because I like Tulip. So I'm going ahead and I'm making sure this is all covered completely. And sometimes you will have a hard time sticking foil on, but this glue that I use works really good. Alright, so now I'm going in with my black. That's going to be the color for my French. I would like to see somebody do this in a neon yellow. Like wherever I put the pink, put neon yellow, and I feel like that would be so pretty. So pretty. Alright, so now, okay, I'm using the polished bottle, but I'm really spreading on the paint pot, if that makes sense. So I'm just using a brush from the polish to help me paint on the paint pot because the polish wasn't dark enough. And then after I do that, I'm gonna put just a tiny bit of glitter on top of that glitter polish that I showed earlier. And I actually diluted it with clear top coat because I just needed a little bit. Okay, I forgot to record the bottle and the number and the color name of this pink color that I'm using, but I know it's from D&D. I'm using my Wild Crazy Striper brush that y'all know I always use. And it's super easy with this brush to just lay it down. It glides over the nails so easy. And I just make one stripe. I do 2 coats of the pink and I cure it. This nail I'm making a solid black French to kind of balance out the pink. I didn't want too much pink, and she honestly wanted black nails anyway, so I was like, okay, I need to add more black up in here. And I just decided to go with the French because I already did a half French on the other finger beside it, so I was like, okay, this will definitely go together. Now you do have the option of doing this with acrylic during your application, doing a whole black French with acrylic, but honestly, y'all, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do in the amount of time that you have to do it. So I was like, okay, doing it with polish will definitely save me time. But I do like the way acrylic French looks, way better than polish. Not necessarily way better, because polish French looks amazing as well. It's just personal preference. Everybody always asks me what I use for glue for my crystals, and I always use super glue in any kind of form. Just as long as it's super glue, I'm good. We did pick out this cute heart charm at first, but I didn't notice that the second piece of the heart was actually a dangle charm. So that's why I didn't really want to stay put. So we opted out and just chose another one instead, which they were both still super cute. The reason why I went with the silver tone is because I put a little bit of that silver glitter in that black French, the one with the snake. So I feel like the silver really tied everything together.